So Nintendo sent me a copy of Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers for the Nintendo Switch, to review over on Nintendo Enthusiast. And I don't know, I guess that's cool. You know, Street Fighter is a cool series. I'm kind of surprised it's still around though. I mean, it's not 1993 anymore, folks. So are we really playing 2D fighting games still? You know, it's not like it's arguably the best fighting game of all time, with new visuals and new modes and, you know, the ability to play it anywhere you want on the Nintendo Switch. It's not like, you know, I'm a Street Fighter 2 fan. It's not like I did Street Fighter Week on Super Nintendo one week and reviewed every Street Fighter game on the Super Nintendo or anything. No, I guess it's all right. Yes, folks, that is right. I got my greasy mitts on a copy of Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers for Nintendo Switch, and I've been playing it way too much. Now, before we get into the meat of this video, I want to preface this by saying this is not a review. There will not be a review score, and it's not a review of the game. This is just my initial impressions, my first impressions, and a preview of the game, what to expect from it. I'm not really going to critique it. I'm more or less just going to tell you what the game is all about. Now, next week will be my full review over on NintendoEnthusiast.com and on the YouTube channel over there. So be on the lookout for that. Like the Facebook fan page because I will post it next week when that video goes live. Now, as far as Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers is concerned, it is a game that's been on my radar, obviously. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I love Street Fighter 2 from the original version all the way to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or even the remixed edition on the Xbox Live and PSN network. Now, a lot of people have been comparing Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, to that version of the game. And I did play that version of the game quite a bit, and that was a $20 digital only game. This is a $40 digital and retail version of the game. And people are like, well, is there enough content for it to be worth the $40? Is it worth it? And from what I've played so far, I'm going to definitely say yes. I've been really impressed with the game. Now, the game does share a similar visual style to that Xbox 360 and PS3 game, but I feel it's a bit more refined in this. I feel it looks better. I always felt sort of a disconnect from that version of the game on the Xbox 360 in terms of the new style of visuals, but I think it looks great on the Switch. It looks really good on the TV. It looks great in tablet mode or even in kickstand mode. So all in all, I think the game looks really good. And one thing I really like about it is that you can switch the visual style and you can switch the audio style. So there's remixed tracks, there's remixed voice samples and whatnot, and most of them are pretty good. I really love Cammy's remix music. I think it's phenomenal. But if you want to do the old school graphics and sound, you could switch it to that. If you want to do the old school sound and new style of graphics, you could switch it to that. If you want to do the new sound with old school graphics, you can switch it to that. So I like that. It really gives you a level of customization, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, as far as the game is concerned, it's Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. If you've ever played a version of Street Fighter 2, you know what to expect. There is an arcade mode, so that is very good. This isn't Street Fighter 5 on the PS4. It's actually releasing with an arcade mode. I'm still salty about that, by the way. But yes, the arcade mode is fun. You know, you pick your character and you get into the arcade mode. And I had a blast with it. I've played through it several times. I've beaten it several times, different difficulties. And I think the AI is pretty fairly balanced as well. And one of the most important things about a Street Fighter game, of course, is the amount of content. And I really feel like this brings a lot of good content. You have the Way of Hado mode, which has been a bit controversial, and it's definitely not like the focal point of the game for me. It's something that I play for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I go back to hours of grinding in arcade mode and practice mode or whatever. But the Way of Hado mode is pretty interesting. Think of like a cheesy Wii motion game, mini game or something, and that's pretty much what you have. To throw your Hadokens, you take a Joy-Cons and go like this, you know, it's silly. It's fun, but it's silly. It's definitely not a focal point. It's definitely not a reason to pick up the game if you just want to play Way of Hado mode, but it is a good deviation. It does provide you with some entertainment. Now, one of the big things, one of my big concerns going into this game, because I set the bar pretty high for this game, you know, obviously I've really been looking forward to it, was the controls, because let's face it, there is no fight stick out yet. I don't have a Pro controller. I am using the Joy-Cons in the Joy-Con dock. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I'm gonna be playing like crap. And that's not the case. And I don't really know what sort of wizardry is going on here, but the game controls really good with just the standard Joy-Con in the Joy-Con grip. I've been able to throw all my moves, do all the specials, I've been able to do all the combos, and I really feel a good level of control with the game. I've beaten the game on the highest difficulty with this setup, and it flows really well. There are a few times where I get a bit frustrated because it's not a traditional D-pad. It definitely takes a little bit of, getting used to, but once you adjust to it, it's super decent. The analog controls work fine. If you want to put it on kickstand mode, you can do that and use a single Joy-Con, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's not going to control well. And trust me, I thought the same thing too, but it actually controls pretty decent. It's definitely not, the competitive way to play. It's definitely not the hardcore way to play, but if you're at a party, you're out in public, you're at a restaurant or something, a bar, and you want to play, a round of Street Fighter with someone, you can pop off those Joy-Cons, hand it to someone, and you can hold your own. The game still controls really well. I played a couple arcade matches with it, and I had no major issues. I was really surprised with that, but it was a pleasant surprise. So Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, I think is really good. It packs a lot of content. I love the ability to customize the character outfits. That's a really fun thing for me because I'm able to make my, RGT 85 style Ryu with the black gi and the purple headband and whatnot. So it's the little things like that. Now, the online mode is not up and running yet, which does suck because, pretty much I'm just training to beat people's asses online. So I haven't been able to try out the online mode yet. That'll be up when the game releases next week. And so I'll talk about that more in my review of it next week. But all in all, from what I've played, which is probably, 10 hours or so because I have problems, it's a great game. It's been very fun. It's something I could see myself returning to a lot because I love Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter 2, and this is, like, in my opinion, probably the best version of the game just because you could do so much with it. There's so many different ways to play. There's new modes. There's a huge art book of stuff to look through, and you can play music from the soundtrack in the game. Just a ton of stuff. Now, like I said, just a preview here, folks. There's not going to be a review score or whatnot. That's going to be over on Nintendo Enthusiast next week. So make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. I have a link to in the description box down below. Or if you prefer to read, stuff, I do write as well. So read the written review when it pops up next week. Make sure you like the RGT85 Facebook fan page so you can see that review first when it goes live next week. And thank you for checking out this video. Like I said, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you're planning on picking up this game. I'll check you guys next time. I'm going to play some more Ultra Street Fighter 2. Later.